Okay, my name is Tom Rosa. I flew 3,000 miles 2 days ago to come out here. In the book, if any of you have read it yet, I'm the infamous Tim. That I known Kody for the last 9 years. He came into my shop in West Hollywood. It's called Cake and Art. We're a rather famous cake design place. I had about 9 people working for me at the time, a number of artists, and I was looking for somebody to manage the shop because I just lost the manager. And this very brash kid came in, 23 years old, sat across from me and said, "I'm going to be your manager." And I kind of looked at him and I said, "Wait a minute, we deal with all the A-listers in Hollywood. Brad and Angelina, Tom Cruise, all these people, and this 23-year-old kid is going to represent the company." And for some odd, strange reason, I said, "Okay, we'll try you out." And for the next 8 years, he was my manager. He became rather infamous in Hollywood, being that he was very high profile with my shop. And at the time, he wasn't an obvious alcoholic. He covered himself very well. When he came to work, he was sober. And it wasn't for about 3 years that suddenly the layers started coming off. And I began to see this kid who was so talented and who truly was beloved by the whole Hollywood set, start to kind of fall apart. And I tried to pull it back up. And a lot of my staff looked at me and said, "What the heck are you seeing this kid? He is, he's giving the company a bad name, and he's scaring people." And so I had a talk with him, and he went sober for about 3 months. And he pretends really well that he's sober. And so I trusted him to come out of it and resurrect this person I had originally hired. Anyway, because the Hollywood people loved him, they invited him to everything. He was going to Oscar parties, he was going to movie premieres, he was meeting everyone. People like Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel and Mila Kunis loved him, wanted him at all their parties. And when he was in that set, it all fell apart. He got exposed to every drug you could think of. He was invited to every party that was out there. I wouldn't see him for a day or two, and I was getting more and more panicky. And then one day he said to me, "I'm really going to pull back from being at Cake and Art. I want to pursue my dream," which I still wasn't really sure what it was. He was a phenomenal performer. He had started here in New York as a performer, but when he came out to Los Angeles, he was adrift. And the only reason, I guess, that I kind of stood behind him at that point is that I was truly like a surrogate father. His true father was sentenced to life in prison. His mother died while he was in high school. He had no siblings. He was almost killed in high school, beaten severely as a gay man. So the story stuck with me, and I believed in him. But then I got this crazy phone call. "I'm off to New York." And I said, "What?" He said, "I'm at the airport." And I said, "You're flying off to New York. You don't have a cent in the bank. You have no clothes with you. You've left your, it was like one of those situations. I'm going, no, this can't be happening. And lo and behold, he flew off to New York. And the next day, I got a phone call, and it said, "Hey, I'm here in New York. I have no money. I have no place to stay, but I love this city." And I said, "Well, you hit the bottom here in Los Angeles, so you only can go up." Boy, was I wrong. He hit the bottom so many times in the city, I'm surprised that he's even alive. And I would get those frantic phone calls from him saying, "I don't know if I should go on any longer." And the stories he was telling me were so frightful that I could barely believe it. 2 days ago, when I came back, he and an inspiring gentleman right here named Clark took me on a trip through the Bronx, through the homeless shelters, through the projects, through the places that he describes in the book. And I began to think, wow, this kid survived insanity. If you go to this place, especially if you're a white person who is of a privileged background, and you see the conditions that people live under and how they struggle to survive. I mean, we're talking hardcore drug addicts, hardcore felons, people. When I was seeing all these shelters and the places that he described, I began to understand the journey that he had taken. And for all of those of us who are back in Los Angeles, the tale is so frightening. And what has he turned around? I see people out here that, you're the New York crowd, you're the New York family. There are people here that I have met that are so close to Kody and only know Kody, the good Kody. They don't know the Kody that was near death so many times. I don't know what to say or what it was that made him pull out of it. I know that people like Catherine from Perigo, he mentioned to me so many times, he said, I found a surrogate mother out here. And then he found a 68-year-old war veteran, Clark, in the shelters. And they became like father and son. And Clark protected him in the shelters. And I thanked Clark yesterday. All the people that he met over the last 8 years are in his corner and are rooting for him. And it's kind of inspiring that when I got out here and I started meeting a lot of you people, it was like, wow, I understand where he got his strength from. Trust me, I had so many people telling me I should fire this kid, I should let go of this kid, I should forget this kid. And there were times in my life I said the exact same thing to myself. And as Catherine well knows, because she fired him also, she knows what it was like, you know? And Clark, who was there by his side, knows the depth that he was down, and where he is right now is so remarkable. So as a surrogate father, I can only say I am so proud of him. I only wish him well. He doesn't know what's going on in Los Angeles right now, but there's a number of things that are brewing that we want to do with the book. And so I'm going to let Kody come up and do whatever it is that he does, because he is so spontaneous. The last time I talked in public about Kody, he had won for my store the Retail Business of the Year. And he pulled this off. And I stood in front of this massive amount of people and I was talking about this crazy, he was 24 years old at the time, crazy kid who had done this. So I would just like to say that I am so proud of him, and that the 3,000 miles that I flew are nothing, and that I only can wish him well, and that he is so welcome back in Los Angeles, and there's so many people who miss and love him. Thank you.
If I still knew how to cry, that would have been hard. I'm a hard-ass motherfucker from the Bronx. Bronx, bitches. You know that. Shit. Alright, so, thank you guys so much for coming. Like, you guys really mean the world to me. The people that are here, people that are in the book, Catherine, Clark, Tom, mean the world to me. I wouldn't be sitting here right now if it wasn't for you, for your support and your love and your just belief in me. The people that never gave up on me, that's special. You'll always have a place in my heart. I want to read just a little bit from the book, real quick. This will mark the page. Anyways, I have some exciting news. July 21st, I've been asked to be a guest speaker at NYU Bookstore for the self-published authors event, which is, it's crazy to think that literally 2 years ago, when I was in a shelter, a year ago I was in a shelter, and now I'm being asked to speak at NYU. It's insane. And I'm so honored and grateful to be here. Thank you. And I just want to say how honored and grateful that I am that I'm having my book release event at Stonewall National Monument. I remember performing on this stage back in 2002 when Brittany Valentine or Sarah Summers was just beginning. She still didn't even know really how to do her makeup, and she had the same wig for like 2 years. I think my boobs were made out of like balloons and birdseed. Yeah, she was still hot though. She was a young hot young girl. But I remember filling in for one of the drag queens here for her bingo show, and at 19, with a fake ID. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that here, but I'm old now. Yeah, there's this place around the corner that made fake IDs, so it was pretty cool. So I got I didn't realize what I was doing. Like, I was this young kid straight off the plane from Texas, hosting a drag bingo at Stonewall, which is, where the gay rights movement began. And I didn't realize how big that was back then. And now I am so honored and so grateful to be doing it. It's like full circle. And I'm so happy that I'm sober and able to remember everything. I didn't remember a lot of nights here at the Stonewall. Just say that. So I'm very happy that I'm here. It's fantastic. I really wish I had more to your eyes. Here we go, guys. Okay. Maybe not. Yes, it's here. So this is page 183. It's from the chapter Extended Vacation. I walked out of the train station on the West 4th Street and found my way over to Christopher Street, where the world-famous Stonewall Inn was located. Stonewall was famous for being the place where the gay revolution really took form, in an age when being openly gay or transgender was illegal, and bars like it were constantly being raided by the police. When I lived in New York City back in 2002, just steps away from this landmark, I was privileged enough to get the opportunity to fill in for one of those house drag queens a few times that hosted her bingo show when she couldn't make it. At 19, I didn't even realize how big of a deal it was to host a show there, or how important that bar was to the very reason I was allowed to be exactly who I was. The nights were some of the most fun nights I could remember spent in the village. I hoped the magic of the past would still be there for my first night back in the city. I walked through the large wooden doors to find the familiar sights of the bar I had once called home. The wood paneling covering every inch of the walls and floor. The pool table was still situated in the right back corner where it had been 10 years ago. My surprise and relief, everything looked exactly the same. It was like time had frozen this sacred place while I was off living life on another parallel plane of existence. Now I thought, what if the universe had brought me back here to have a second go at it? Does life work in circles? Or was the universe allowing me a second chance with a different outcome? I'll say it did. Damn sure. And it's one more thing I want to read to you guys. This is from close to the end of the book. Oh, it was Marcus, look at that. I'm blind. There's a lot of lights. Gay pride in NYC was a big deal. There was always a huge parade and a bunch of parties all over the city where you could drink for free. I had told myself I was going to slow down on the booze, and I had even made it a couple of days without drinking before the weekend of the event. I had been at the YMCA in Queens for a few weeks, and I had been going to the library to use the computer so I could check my emails and update my Facebook. It was nice to see messages of encouragement that people from my high school days would send me, or inspirational quotes they would post to my wall. I spent part of my bi-weekly government assistance buying another burner phone and used that phone number for a few batch of resumes I had printed out. The day of the Gay Pride Parade, I walked out of my room towards the bathroom I shared with the 40 other guys living on that floor and was pretty shocked to see a pile of human feces just laying against the wall in the hallway. What a piece of shit my life had become, literally. I was living a life surrounded by shit, and I couldn't wait to get out of there for the day. I went down to the cafeteria where they served 3 meals a day and got lunch. The food was nothing to write home about, but I was grateful for it in the days when I literally only had pennies to my name. After lunch, I made my way into Manhattan and used the other half of my bi-weekly government assistance money to buy a giant bottle of vodka and some snacks at the parade festivities. I ran across a private party in a random park where I pretended to know the host and was allowed entry. I ended up drinking for free the rest of the day and don't remember much, except for the gay couple I saw sitting on the bench just holding each other. Even in my drunken haze, I could remember thinking how sweet it was and how badly I wished I had someone to love me like that. Someone to hold me while I was going through some of the worst emotions I had ever felt in my life. I thought about how different my life would be at that moment if Liam had been different. If he had let go of his ego and really let our relationship have a chance. Fuck him and fuck everybody else for not being there for me and letting me end up like this. Maybe they would all be happier if I was dead. Maybe if the people in LA got a call from some random case manager in New York telling them that Caleb was dead, they could all live better and live a better life without me. Drink, drink, drink. Drink the pain and the thoughts away, and maybe I could finally be free of all this shit that was my world. I drank a lot that day, and somehow I made it back to the Y in Queens and woke up in my twin-sized bed, sick as a dog. I threw up, and then threw up some more. I tried to eat some food, but I couldn't keep anything down. Not even water could rest in my stomach at this point. I must have had alcohol poisoning yet again, and it was complete agony. The vomiting lasted through the next day. I think maybe I got 2 hours of sleep during those 48 hours. The chills and then the sweats, the head pain and the hunger I couldn't satiate were driving me insane. I honestly felt like I was going to die, and at that moment I didn't care. I didn't call for help, and I just let myself suffer through it. Self-punishment, I guess, for the life that I was living. I didn't want to go on anymore. I looked around the room at the plastic grocery bags filled with vomit and the empty vodka bottles littered in the room and said to myself, if you make it through this, you have to quit drinking for real. You have to give it your all. Thank God I did. Right now, I'd like to end by singing a special song that I have. If you've read the book, you know that I've sang this a couple of times in the book. My guitarist is up here. Thank you. And then we can turn Brittany on and dance. When you're here before, couldn't look you in the eye. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather in a beautiful world. I wish I was special. You're so fucking special. But I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't care if it hurts. I wanna have control. I want a perfect body.
worth its toll. I want you to notice when I'm not around. You're so fucking special. I wish I was special, but I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. No, no. She's running out the door. She's running. She run, 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 run. She runs. Whatever makes you happy, whatever you want. You're so fucking special. We're all fucking special, but I'm a creep and you're a weirdo. What the hell are we doing here? It's 'cause we belong here. You know I belong here.
One final announcement. This is kind of special for my people in Los Angeles. August 26th, 7 p.m. I will be doing a book signing at Book Soup on Sunset Boulevard in West Hollywood, California. Right in the middle. Where all the drama of the first half of the book took place. So it'll be a homecoming for me. So I'm excited to see all my friends in LA, and thank you guys so much for being here. This really means the world to me. Thank you.